Good morning, students. Now today we can discuss complex numbers problems. Now problem number 6, the value of I plus I cube plus I to the power of 5 plus up to so on 2n terms. Now number of terms are 2n, means even number of terms in the equation. If suppose we take n equals to 1, means number of terms 2. What is the value of I plus I cube? But I cube equals to minus I minus I, that equals to 0. If suppose n equals to 4 terms, here next term I to the power of 5, I to the power of 7. Now 4 terms take it. Now I plus I cube plus I to the power of 5 plus I to the power of 7. I cube equals to minus I to the power of 5 equals to I to the power of 4 into I, but I to the power of 4 equals to 1. Now I to the power of 5 equals to I to the power of 7 minus I. Now that equals to also 0. Any number n equals to take it 0. Now option C is the correct answer. Next, 7th problem. Sigma n equals to 1 to 13. I to the power of n plus I to the power of n plus 1. I to the power of n plus 1. Now, here sigma nothing but summation of the series and the values of n 1 to 13. Now, first term we get n equals to 1, substitute I plus I square plus n equals to 2, substitute I square plus I cube. Next n equals to 3, I cube plus I to the power of 4 plus up to so on n equals to 13, I to the power of 13 plus I to the power of 14. Now in this I take common I into 1 plus I plus here I square take common I plus 1 plus I cube common 1 plus I. Similarly so on, I to the power of 13 take common 1 plus I. Now in all the terms 1 plus I take common, that equals to 1 plus I into 1 I plus I square plus I cube plus up to so on I to the power of 13. But in I plus I square plus I cube plus I to the power of 4, first 4 terms equals to 0. First 4 terms I plus I square plus I cube plus I to the power of 4. This value equals to 0. Similarly, I to the power of 5 plus I to the power of 6 plus I to the power of 7 plus I to the power of 8 also 0. Up to I to the power of 12 0. Then we get it is equals to 1 plus I into I to the power of 30. Now that equals to 1 plus I into I to the power of 13 equals to I, because I to the power of 13 equals to I to the power of 12 into I, but I to the power of 12, I to the power of 4 whole cube, but I to the power of 4 equals to 1. Therefore, I to the power of 12 is 1 into I, that equals to I minus I plus I square, that equals to I minus 1. Answer is I minus 1. Second option is correct. Next, if n is any positive integer, then the value of I to the power of 4n plus 1 minus I to the power of 4n minus 1 by 2. Require this value. Now I to the power of 4n plus 1 can be written as I to the power of 4n into I. I to the power of 4n plus 1 can be written as I to the power of 4n plus I into I. Next minus I to the power of 4n by I by 2. Because I to the power of 4n minus 1 equals to I to the power of 4n by I. But I to the power of 4n equals to 1. Here it is also 1. That equals to I minus 1 by I by 2. Take LCM, we get I square minus 1 by 2I. But I square equals to minus 1. Minus 1 by 2I. That equals to minus 2 by 2I. 2 get cancelled. That equals to minus 1 by I. Now it is multiplied and divided by I. That equals to minus I by